Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of The A Show. In fact, it is episode 390. I'm, of course, Meelz. We are one half of the Kings of Pro Wrestling podcast. And normally J5 would be here, but J5 is not here this week. J5, where is he? Maybe he's in the abyss. How about that? Maybe he's over at in the abyss where Miro Rusev found himself out of. But nonetheless, we have a special guest, someone who has been riding with the team for a very, 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 very long time. He has been our social media manager for what, like 4 years now?
No, since 2020. Yeah, so 4.5. Yeah.
Yeah, 4.5 years. So 4.5 years. You know him if you're in the Discord. You know him if you know on our Twitter. You know him from if you were a fan of our spaces. It is Deon. Deon, 390 episodes. Welcome to the A Show.
Yes, sir. And I've been waiting. First of all, I just want to say, Meelz, thank you so much for letting me.
I mean, you've been on like the WrestleMania prediction party before, but it's like this is your.
You know what's crazy too? The last time I was here, I literally I had a bad laptop. I didn't even think I had a microphone yet, and I got booted off to the abyss, and nobody heard from me. It was like in the middle of the predictions, and everybody was like, "Where did Deon go?" So that was the last time.
I vaguely remember that. I remember recording with you. I'm not sure if this was. Did we ever do a diaries? Any of the diaries thing, or what?
We did Invasion Diaries. Yeah, we did Invasion Diaries. So that was pretty cool.
Can I tell you the one thing that sticks in my mind about that experience?
Yeah, go ahead.
I remember recording it and your house phone rang, and the cringe in my body that it sent throughout my soul when your house phone rang, just basically because there's nothing I could do about it. And it was just like you were back at your old house with your parents, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, I was with my parents. I think this is when I had no job at this point. COVID was definitely an interesting time.
Yeah, so your house phone rang, and I was just like, there's no way I can edit this out.
Yeah, in the year, I don't even remember what it was. It had to be 2022, maybe.
Yeah, like 2022, 2021 for sure.
Yeah, like yes, my mom is literally the only adult that I know that still has a house phone. Well, honestly, I'm lying, but she's one of the few adults around her age that still has the house phone. Which
does she still use it?
No, I don't think she uses it now anymore. I mean, unless like Walgreens calls for a prescription, because we have that's.
If you called your house, would your mom pick up right now?
No, because she's at work, so I don't think she would pick up, and I don't think the babysitter would pick up the phone because my sister's autistic, so they usually have a babysitter to watch over her while my mom goes to work. But yeah, no, I don't think anybody would answer the phone. So yeah.
Okay. All right.
But
smart.
But I mean, obviously, like I said, I was in Invasion Diaries. I was on the, A Show WrestleMania prediction party. So, but this is the first time for me that I've been on the A Show as a solo guest. I've not with people beside me. It's not for, the Invasion Diaries. This is a solo guest. I'm just really excited to be here. And like you said, I've been with you guys. I've been a fan of you guys even before the A Show started, Yeah. I mean, obviously with Justin, our shared love for Young Thug during the time where a lot of people weren't too keen on Young Thug, but then people realized that he's actually really that fucking good. And obviously a fan of you guys as a writer back in the Wrestle Rap days. Not gonna mention too much about that, but I was a fan. Even
there's a story still to be told about that we need to talk about, but at this point it's been so far that I think I don't remember all the specifics. But there's definitely the Wrestle Rap story is still yet to be told from the perspective of people who were there.
Vice TV, you know what to do.
The
Vice
dark side of
TV,
wrestling.
you know what to do, Vice TV. But no, even then, and then when the A show started, I remember the first episode, literally the first graphic cover of that episode was when Kurt Angle was getting pulled by Baron Corbin and one other guy. That was the first graphic
Maybe it
cover
was
of
like
the A show.
Rusev or something, yeah. Or
Yeah,
Chad Gable or something. I don't remember. But yes,
yeah.
I remember that.
And that was literally that year. And that's funny enough. That was Survivor Series 2017. And I knew that was in Houston. So I went to that pay-per-view when it was people who called it pay-per-views back then. But yeah, no, like I've been a fan of you guys for damn near 10 years, 10 plus years. And I mean, I'm about to be 29 in 2 weeks. So like watching
Look
you
at
guys
man.
grow and watching myself grow, you know, within the A show with this family that we have, man, I'm just grateful to be here. I know it sounds long-winded, but just appreciate you guys for always showing love and support towards me personally. It means a lot.
Are you feeling the 29ness? Are you feeling the close to 30ness? Because the signs are there.
Yeah.
The signs are there. When I turned 29, I was like, oh, the signs are there, but I'm not mentally, but the signs are here.
I practically said to myself, I'm basically 30. I'm pushing 30. Like, I don't feel 29. I just been telling people I'm pushing 30, which is crazy. Like, even my girl is like, damn, like, you about to be 30. Like, she don't even say I'm 29. She's like, yo, you about to be 30. It's like, yeah, I know.
How old is your girl?
Damn, hold on. I'm playing. My girl, wait, she's about to be 27 this year. So,
all right, yeah. She's there. Like, she practically there.
Yeah,
like,
but you know, and that's the crazy part too. I'm like, girl, you almost up there with me. And she's like, nah, I'm still young. I still got them. Like, I'm not saying you old, but you're not
just
21.
In your late 20s. Yeah, you in your late 20s. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like you be like, come on, like I'm not the only old person out here. Like, hey, I think because she knows that I think she tries to like kind of like, oh, because she watches TikTok videos all the time and she's into with trends and shit like that. That means she keeps herself young. And it's like, I don't think that keeps you young, but I mean, I guess, sure.
It keeps me, it at least keeps you abreast of like things that are like actual young. There's something with grown older, and you see it usually with people who are definitely older who like to reject a lot of new technology and a lot of new things that happen. And usually they end up living a lot more of a miserable life than people who kind of accept the new things that are coming. If you're able to accept it, if you're able to keep yourself kind of like around that kind of energy, and a lot of that energy does come from like TikTok and stuff. Or it could come from people. It depends. Like I know when I worked in a school, I kept myself around that energy a lot. So I was kind of like still understood like new things, but like I was terribly Jurassically old to these kids. But and mind you, I was like I left there when I was like 32, and they were like, bro, you're so fucking old. And I was just, at some point it got crazy. Like everyone born after, no offense to the people in our Discord who were born after 2000, everyone who was born after 2000 is like, yo, you are disgustingly old.
And the fact that we have people on our Discord born after 2000 is nuts. Like,
but that's fire. Like, that's fire to me. I don't want a super old Discord, bro.
Oh, I don't want it either. It's just crazy to me still, though.
Yeah, if you're born after 2000, you're still welcome in the Discord. But like, I don't want a super old Discord. I don't want to be like the adult contemporary podcast. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just is what it is. Yeah, I don't want to be that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be rock the bell to podcast. Like, we're not that. You know what I'm saying? So it just is what it is. But I'm glad to have you here. I'm glad you're on the show. I'm glad you're someone who every time there's a quiz, I know you know the answer and you're screaming it out as we're getting it wrong. You have the mental Rolodex to be able to do these things. Like what we're going to do today, the fun we're going to have today, because we got a lot to talk about this week. Like we're still in the post hangover from WrestleMania, which, mind you, by the way, let me talk about WrestleMania. Just kind of talk about that week just in general.
Yeah.
The work that we put in for the WrestleMania prediction show and like the social stuff and all this other stuff like that, I was prepared last week. I'm still, even this week, I was like, I don't really want to do the show. Because
you literally told me and Donnie, you was like, I don't know if I want to do the show. I said, shit,
yeah,
I'll do it.
Because it's a lot to take in. Like a lot of wrestling, a lot of media, a lot of social to consume. And I just was like, I'm pretty good with like being able to limit myself on social media if I think I'm on too much social media. But because I had to like work and and come up with these things and cut videos and post them and schedule them and make clips and make graphics and all these other things, with the help of everybody, of course. I was just like locked in to social media between this, the Lookout 200th episode, and I think we had another Lookout thing, which was an anniversary thing. So it was like pretty much for like 4 straight weeks, I'm going hard on like prepping special stuff. So yeah, I didn't really want to do this because I was just like, I'm kind of over it. But there's like the thing with doing this wrestling podcast is, it's always something ridiculous that's going to pull you back in. Like, because there's so much, like if this was on music, like for instance, used to do Two Belts, right?
Yeah,
Two
of course.
Belts
I remember
ended.
Two Belts.
Yeah, Two Belts ended right when it should have. I have no regrets on the ending of Two Belts because the way music has kind of like just fallen off in terms of any relevance in pop culture, is it's crazy. Like Two Belts ended 2019, literally 2020. I can't think. I was talking about this with Armand and them, like, and this should, you can give me your synopsis on this too, since you're a DJ as well. Music just isn't like as dynamic as it was before, and like even like before, like 5 years ago, before, like, there's, as someone who, you know, dabbled in DJing like very very briefly before the pandemic, and then I just forgot. I used to have a set list. I could set list a series of new songs for like an hour, and they'd be like new songs that just came out in like the last like month. You know, I feel like now we're so few and far between like major releases for anything, or like just real records people want to play outside. I don't know. What's your take on it? You're a DJ. Like, what are
Yes.
you playing?
Yeah, no. So it's interesting. I think it really depends on the setting. I've seen well, first of all, just with music, for me personally, like outside of DJing, like I have not really, unless it's like a big artist like a Drake or even like a Kendrick or
Yeah,
even someone that I personally like really really like. Like I haven't really had the urge to be like, oh, I gotta check this album out, you know. And I'm talking about like months, even like probably even late last year. I was just like, I never had the urge to be like, I gotta check out this new album from such and such. You know, like I'm like every Thursday, every Friday, I always want to be like, okay, I have these albums on rotation for work. I'm gonna listen to it. Nowadays, I'm just really like kind of slacking on that, and I
bro.
don't. Maybe it's because of how music is today, or maybe it's just because I don't have the time as I used to just really just sit around and listen to albums. Like even as a
You'd make
DJ,
you'd make the time if they were fire. Like I
yeah,
feel like you would make, you more specifically, I feel like you would make the time to listen to some stuff. If it was like something actually like dope to listen to. Like you would go out your way or set it to something or da 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 da. Like,
yeah, no, my even like as a DJ too, like I mean, what I'm playing in the club, like obviously, like a lot of people still, you believe it or not, people still go up for Sexy Red, you know, Glorilla,
yeah, of
and
course.
Glorilla, and I think she's an artist that I mean, that album has nothing but bangers, like at
Yeah,
least
yeah.
6 of them, you know what I mean? Or even like it'll be like the newest one on like for example, I didn't even know like the Lululemon song. I was like, oh, this is what y'all like for real, like. I'm like, all right. I mean, I guess so. I'll play that. I mean, I guess what the hell, you know, like you know, those songs that are just really trending on TikTok. But it's just like, how long is this gonna last? Like, this is
Not
good.
that long.
By the next month, it'll be the next song that is hot on the internet. But is it gonna translate? Like, I remember when people was like, "Oh yeah, Tweaker when it gets played in the club, it's gonna go crazy." I played in the club like after the hook is over. It's on to the next song. It doesn't have no longevity. It doesn't have any. It doesn't. It's not gonna last. You know. So I don't know. Music's in a weird space, like for me personally. So like, that's why it's very interesting. I've seen this shift where like this for some reason like now the thing to do is do Y2K parties. Like now it's the thing to do Y2K parties.
Yeah, yeah.
So like you remember like 10 years ago, it used to be like, oh, we're 90s babies,
90s,
90s
yeah.
this, 90s this. Now we're in the Y2K era where everybody's bringing back the airbrush tees as if like that's the only thing people wore in the 2000s. I'm like, do y'all not have any other outfits that are better than just airbrush tees with like
Nah, they
baggy
don't.
jeans? I'm like, that's not the only things they wore, but whatever. But then you know what's funny? I told my girlfriend, my friends, I was like, I'm predicting this right now. Next decade, people are gonna be like, "Oh my god, the 2010s was it, bro. We gotta bring that back."
But
And
so yes, so I tried. The thing is, I have so many playlists that feature songs from 2010s. It's a legitimately like it has its ups and downs, but it has like beats and the thing to it. Like I remember when I was DJing, the brief period, like it was like for 8 months, so it's not even like a crazy thing. Like I remember I would play G Easy No Limit, the one with ASAP and Cardi.
what club are you at? Are you playing
This
that
is
song?
this is 2009, 17, 18, 19.
Okay, so the song is hot because Cardi B is like on a roll.
Yeah, Cardi B is fucking on fire. Then I would play the Ray Shremmer joint that sampled 3-6. I forgot what it was called.
Powerglide.
Yeah. And then I would play like you had this whole set of like bangers, right? Like legitimate bangers. I don't know I was talking about someone the other day. Like I was talking to Armand too about the Coco Jones album. And I was just like, yo, Taste could have been the single Taste. He was like, yo, do you really like it? I'm like, nah, I don't really. Well, he asked me, do I like the sample? I was like, nah, not really. Not the way they use it, but I was listening to it and I was like, yo, this song could have used a rapper on it. And I was like, but there's no rapper that like appeals to women nowadays. Like just no cool, smooth, like I don't want to date myself, like LL, Drake, Fabulous, Ludacris. No feature rapper that even appeals to that. Like we even lost that. So it's kind of like
you know what's crazy? Like for me, it seems like I would funny enough, like I will hang out and people, I mean, I would have said someone like a lot of girls, funny enough, love Shmino, but he's not an artist that he's not on the status of a Drake, right? Or the status of a LL, where it's like, if you put him on a song, it's gonna be like top 5 on the Billboard Hot 100. It's not gonna be that.
He ain't break through. He ain't break through at all. Yeah.
Yeah, he ain't break through, or even like, I mean, it's funny enough when the Discord pay the 20 if you want to, hear our thoughts. But even someone had brought up Gold Link, and I thought Gold Link was a person that I've seen. I mean, personally, I guess on conversations, a lot of girls really like Gold Link, but I mean, he kind of fumbled himself with that whole situation. But it's like, yeah, I mean, there's no God in this era that not only can appeal to the ladies and give a R&B song a lot of crossover appeal, like you said, a Ella or even a Nelly or even a Drake, or Fabulous, so
we ain't got
yeah,
none
we're
of
kind
them,
of
bro.
missing that. We're missing a lot of R&B hip hop collaborations,
And it's like we're not even asking for like rappers because like there's rappers out there. We're just asking for people who are able to sell the experience of what this the blazing hip hop and R&B collaboration is. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. We're weird. It's in a weird state right now.
Yeah, it's in a weird state, and like I said, with DJing, like obviously for me, I mean, I play the songs, yes, that are high on the internet or that just like that's what y'all love right now. But like as far as like this year, like what is a mainstay song like that people just go up for no matter what? Like these last couple months, there's not really been a song in my head right now at the moment that I'm thinking about. Even like when people was trying to convince me that, yo, man, you play this Kendrick song, like Squabble Up, like, bro, like no one's reacting to that. Like it was a cool week or two. And after that, it's like, bro, what are you playing? Like, can we change the song? Like, bro, like, no. So yeah, it's really weird. But I mean, like I said, I've been able to like when it comes to like playing at different places, like, just take risk, introduce people to a new song that maybe people might like, or just kind of like, play something that you don't normally hear at a club, in the middle, when it's a peak hour where it's like 12 or 1 a.m., just kind of I still kind of take a risk, because once you kind of have a format of you playing the same stuff over and over every single week, you're gonna get tired or you're gonna get bored, or you're gonna like kind of lose your why as to why you even got into DJing in the first place, at least for me. So yeah,
no,
it's
that's for sure.
It's a weird time, but I still love DJing and I still love getting people's reactions to like certain songs, it still feels good. So I guess still in my honeymoon phase of DJing. So I don't know if that will ever.
Nah, it's not like there's anything. It's just like it's the music out there, but there's always music to play. It's just
Yeah.
that the music currently right now is kind of like it is what
Yeah,
it is.
nah, I can't tell. Like there's like, is it? I'll only say like there's like maybe like 2 albums that right now in my head that I can say that I like right now. I really liked. Like obviously I like Drake and Party's album. I like the
I like
songs
that
that are
album.
there. Oh no, my God, Nokia. Nokia's still okay. Let me actually take that back. Nokia. I mean, it's Drake, yes, but Nokia. I mean, listen, I play that song every time. Yeah, the girls are going up for it.
Yeah.
They fuck with it. So I would say Nokia is like still that song where especially for this year, where if I play it, they're gonna be like, oh shit. And then I really like Saba's album. He's from Chicago. Saba's album with No ID. That was really good. But I mean, that's not an album that people are gonna be like, oh my God, like this shit is gonna take hip hop to the next level. No, but it's a really good album. I guess personally for me, I really like playing it.
Okay.
And low key, I know people are gonna. I know I just said his name earlier, but I do like that new Gold Lean song. But no one's gonna give a fuck about it, unfortunately. But I do
Yeah,
like that Gold Lean song.
I had no idea he had a new song.
Yeah,
But
exactly. No one has idea that he dropped a new song, or that a tour. He just dropped a tour, which everybody.
maybe it's better this way. I don't know. Maybe it's better
Yeah,
this way.
it is better this way. Trust me.
Let's get into wrestling because we got so much stuff to talk about. I wanted to play a game. I don't know if we're gonna have time for it with everything that we got covered. I don't know if I should go over the news first or we should do the game first, but we're gonna see what happens. Let's play the game. Hopefully we can do this because I had this idea. It was supposed to be with J5. I'll still do it with J5. It will be just a part 2. This game, I was listening to a podcast and they said something about a wrestler falling off. So I wanted to bring up the question. When did they fall off? This is the game.
Okay.
And I'm going to name various wrestlers. And you can say if they fell off or they didn't fall off or anything of the rather. And if they did fall off, when did they fall off? The first wrestler I'm going to name, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
That's...
Did he ever fall off? And if so, when?
Did he? I remember we talked about this on Invasion Diaries about how people thought his 2001 run in the Invasion was not great.
Because he was a heel.
Yeah, he was a heel. But looking back at it, like
that's his best year.
Yeah, that's his best year. Not only wrestling wise, but also just like character wise. And a lot of those things, like we still talk about to this day. Obviously, the What Chance started in 01, right?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, some of the matches that we talk about when it comes to Steve Austin came from 01. When it comes to him and Angle, him and Rock, him and Triple H. So
I think when the Invasion ended, that's when it kind of like fell off for him.
Yeah, I would even say even when he kind of low key came back in Unforgiven 2000. Not saying that he wasn't popular, but he was definitely in that time. He was just kind of coasting. Because obviously The Rock and Triple H were just so hot, you know what I'm saying? Like, and they were running the company without Steve Austin when he got injured or when he left in 99. So like Rock and Hunter and Foley and, Jericho and Angle, Benoit, Guerrero, all those guys, they're like literally like, running the company, or I would just say specifically Rock and Hunter, like they're running the company. And, I feel like Austin was just kind of like, okay, I'm just coasting to figure out who ran me over and end up being Rikishi. But wait a minute, Triple H is actually the one that hired Rikishi. And
I feel like they were like gliding him because they knew they wanted him to win the Rumble, so they didn't want to like do too.
So
much.
Once he won the Rumble, that's when it was like, okay, we got it, we got the story, and it happened that way. But yeah, definitely after the Invasion Angle, like I guess you could say like it was just all about, oh, okay, his promo, everybody's gonna say what, it's gonna be entertaining.
Yeah.
This, that, third. P's on Arn Anderson for some reason, like it's like, okay, what's going
on? Next one I got. Bobby Lashley.
Whoo!
Did Bobby Lashley ever fall off?
Was Bobby Lashley ever on? I'm trying to remember. No, okay, to be fair, did Bobby... Lashley ever
This
fall
is a
off?
this is a this is a great question though. I feel like was he ever on is actually like
He was
'cause
never.
he's
It
never
seemed
like the
like he
top guy
was.
even. Go
No, go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say he wasn't like the top guy. He was a guy for sure. I don't feel like he was ever like the top guy, but he was definitely like he's multiple time world champion, all this other stuff like that. But I don't remember like an extended run of Bobby to say he was on.
Yeah, like even
Maybe
hurt.
pandemic. I
Yeah,
don't know.
pandemic, but even then, that's Roman. Like that's all Roman, bro. Like to be honest, that's all Roman. Uh, I will say like he had the career that he should have had. This is exactly the career he should have had. I don't think he was ever like they tried to do it with him and Cena at the Great American Bash, but yeah, it just wasn't. It just wasn't it. They tried. I mean, they tried at WrestleMania 23. It just wasn't it. I think the moment where I realized I was like, wow, like this is where you're at now, bro. When he WrestleMania 39 and he posed
Oh,
with that Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal Trophy, and I say, yeah, this is exactly where he's supposed to be, bro. You
I
put
was
forth.
definitely gonna say like the moment the Brock feud never lived up to any expectations. I think it was probably that was probably it. Like the
No,
Brock
you know
feud,
what? You
Bobby
can
versus
even go
Brock was.
back.
Go ahead.
You can even go before when this nigga was wearing a fucking headband, bending over and slapping his ass cheeks to get a
Oh yeah, nah,
reaction. I said, yeah,
yeah. Second run, yeah, entire second run. You're right.
Lashley. I'm like, bro, this is it for real. I
Oh
said,
my
wow.
god. Yeah, you're right. You're right. All right, next one. Next one. Um, Undertaker. When did Undertaker fall off? So Undertaker was not popping for a long time in terms of in ring, but then he got popping a little bit.
I always preach this, but Undertaker's run when he got older is like from like maybe like '05 to 2013 is a crazy run. If you think about the feuds and matches he had, we're talking about Randy Orton, we're talking about what's Batista, Edge, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, obviously CM Punk, Kurt Angle, like that run was crazy. I feel like as soon as the streak ended,
Mm.
yeah, I think that's when, in terms of match quality, definitely fell off.
Can this might be a hot take from me. I think after the Shawn Michaels series of matches, I had no more use for Undertaker in my life. Like I low key feel like even the Triple H back to back WrestleManias, I think they were solid. I don't think they were good or necessary or needed or anything. He come back, shaved his hair into a damn landing strip or whatever the hell it was. But it, it's hard for me to like. I liked Undertaker throughout the aughts and stuff. He was in great shape, had these battles with Edge, had these battles with all these other things. Shawn Michaels. Eventually, the Shawn Michaels thing was where he got to the greatest WrestleMania match of all time, apparently.
In my opinion, I think it's still Roman Cody for me is a close ass too. But Sean and I'm this biased because it was in Houston. I was there live when I saw it. But yeah, I think it's still that match for sure. I'm not gonna lie.
I think after that, like I didn't really want to see. When I think about the first Triple H match, well, not the first, but the second one, realistically, because WrestleMania 17 happened. But the back-to-back Triple H matches at 27 and 28, I believe.
Yeah, 27, 28.
I didn't really want to see it. The Punk match was good, but I blame Punk, Loki. Like Undertaker was still great and moving back then, but I blame Punk. 30 is absolutely the mark where the fall off fucking happens.
Yeah,
because he was never the same. It was never the aura was gone. Everything was gone.
I'm gonna be real. I feel like he still had a sense of, or I feel like fans
He
were
was
still like,
kicking
oh,
niggas in the nuts, bro. Like
yeah,
he
but
was.
people were still like, I mean, I think because for me, like, I was like, it was like, I'm still interested to see Undertaker. I'm still interested to see Undertaker. Maybe not the match, but yeah, I want to see Undertaker. Now, I feel like for me personally, when the aura was like, oh, this is it, my nigga, that Goldberg match, when you saw his reaction, I
It was
said
long gone by then. It
it
was
was
long
probably
gone by.
long gone, but I was like, bro, you're Mark. That's not
Yeah.
even you're just Mark now. Seeing that face, that was not Undertaker's face. That was Mark's face. Like, what the fuck did I just do in this match?
Shit. All right, next one. Kane. Since we're on this, Kane might be like 1999.
No,
Like,
you know what's crazy, bro? Is like with Kane is like he can fall off, but then you can heat him back up so crazy.
he was
It's
never really on though.
he
Like
wasn't on, but like people fucked with Kane, bro. Like I like
Kane was
Kane.
Kane at
Kane
the
low-key has some
beginning.
of the most underrated returns. Because if you hear those pops, bro, like the 2000
Yeah,
return, like yeah,
but I feel like most people pop for a return. I low key feel like the aura of Kane after when he went through the series with his brother. This is like a late '90s WWF shit. The aura of Kane, the story of Kane, the lore of Kane, all the other stuff like that. Went up against his brother, won a WWE championship, all this other stuff like that. When he started like tag teaming with X-Pac and like getting feelings for Tori, and then like being in goofy things with the Hurricane and all this other, like you realize he got a longer career of like being an idiot than than being like an actual threat. Um, so low key, this shit is like 1999.
So
Like
for me, obviously, I started wrestling. I started watching wrestling when I was 5. So that's like, and out like literally when Chris Jericho became undisputed champion. So Kane to me was
Kane was
like
boofed by then.
he was booed by them, but for me as a kid, it was like, oh, he looks cool. Like even when he came back with the new theme in '02, like I was like, oh, he look even cooler. Now, granted, I was a kid, so I wasn't out. You know, anything looked cool to me. You know what I'm saying as a kid. But for me, like growing up, when he fell off, for me, I'm trying to think. Oh, for me, it was what's that bullshit he was doing for See No Evil?
Oh,
That
the May
bullshit.
19th joint?
May 19th, I say yes, it's a wrap, bro. I don't even think you that guy. Not even that you that guy, but I don't even think I can watch you in the same way.
Yeah.
Like for me, like that was it for me. So honestly, but yeah, I think Kane. Do you think Kane should have been like a one feud and done kind of thing? Since you're saying like because of his storyline with the Undertaker.
No, but I felt like there was more opportunities to keep the story kind of like going and building. And they fully chose to be like, all right, now he's just a nigga with a mask. And then we're gonna take off his mask. So now he's
How did
just
you feel
Kane.
about the unmasking of Kane?
I liked it, but realistically, it's like the point that messed it up is he tried to put it back on.
But
Like, that's what messed it
it
up.
took him a long time to put it back. It was like what I think like 9 years at that point. He came back with the embrace the hate. That's when he put the mask back on. Yeah,
Looking mad old and out of shape
yeah,
and all types of other stuff like that. Like, yeah, I
yeah.
was a fan of that Summer of Kane because it was the only interesting. And that's why I say like the lore of it, like those kind of stories you can tell with Kane. But if you just having him do regular shit, like it don't even matter. Um, Next person, Edge.
Whoo. Edge, bro. I'm trying to think. I am
When did Edge
definitely.
fall off?
Oh. You know what? I know when. For me, now looking back at it, when his whole gimmick was just spear. That's when it was over. That's when I believe Edge
So it was
was
during his
like
first run. You're saying?
no, not his first one. No, it was like he came back in when he came back in 2010, right? He was a face, right? Then he faced
Yeah.
Jericho, lost to Jericho, then became a heel for some reason in the middle
That's
of
still in the
summer.
first run. I'm saying before the neck.
Oh yeah, before
Before the
that, yes.
retirement.
Okay. I thought you meant like the first run as like a solo superstar. No, but okay, yes, that's when he was like fans were chanting Spirit. Like that was just his whole gimmick at one point. That's when I was like, oh, okay, well, this is where you're at in life. Okay,
Yeah.
That's to me was the instance of like, oh man, like it's done for you, bro. But then obviously life handled that for him, unfortunately.
Wow.
But I'm just saying, life kind of took care of that for him. But I was there when he came back in 2020, and I remember that day clearly. No pun intended. I saw it. It was insane. Like the crowd was, and that was the same day Kobe passed too. So that was a really bleak day for everybody. And Edge kind of like brought that emotion out of all of us. Now, what happens after that, that's a whole
Yeah.
nother thing. But I would say the first time I feel like Edge really was like, okay, you're not really important to me or as a fan, was definitely when fans were just chanting Spear, and it was like, okay, cool.
There's so many different various points where Edge like falls off, rises back up, then the aura's kind of like lost again or something along those lines. It's definitely in the first run for me, and it's like right before he retired. So kind of like you said, like life just kind of like worked itself out for him. He was on his way to
with
retirement.
Alberto and Dolph Ziggler, and I was
Yeah, he was on his way to retirement anyway. Like you saw that he had so many injuries, like he couldn't even work out anymore. He looked terrible. But definitely then, and yeah, he came back. He's had various moments, but it's not anything crazy. Last one I'm gonna choose, and this is gonna be a great segue into what we talk about next. John Cena. Did John Cena ever fall off?
John Cena, I think John Cena did.
Was it at WrestleMania 41?
Was it at WrestleMania 40? No. I'm trying to even remember the last great John Cena match. Damn. I think
it's one of the AJ Styles matches for sure.
Yeah, I think after, because I can't remember a great. Yeah, after he won the 16th championship. That was 2017. And then I think what did he do at WrestleMania?
When he came back with long hair, I was like, all right, bro.
Yeah, long hair John is that. But at that point, people still loved John and people still wanted to see John. So the aura of John was still there, but maybe match quality it just wasn't there. But the aura was still there. But like his last couple years is not really anything memorable match wise besides the Bray match at WrestleMania 36, which I mean we didn't even have no wrestling, but the story they told was like amazing, obviously. But I think the aura of John Cena was still there even during that time, just because like, you know, people learned to like love John and appreciate John for everything he's done for the company. So like, but yeah, match quality, he hasn't had a great match that I remember since like he won the number 16 from AJ at the Royal Rumble. So
yeah. The WrestleMania 41, I mean, I think he got away with a lot of stuff, a lot of tag stuff, a lot of character stuff, a lot of just being back nostalgia. Like there was even moments like, for instance, he comes back, you were there, Money in the Bank 2022.
Oh my God. Yeah. That I swear when people see that video, they think I'm the one screaming like that. I swear my girl was right next to me. But because our voices kind of like, people think I'm screaming like a little girl. I swear to God, I was screaming. But I was not screaming that way at all. That just it's ridiculous. But yes, I remember that
came back. Yeah, when he came back, it was still there was still like a little aura, like little embers of aura there. You know what I'm saying? But then I don't know, something about that WrestleMania 4. It's been a long time since I've called a John Cena match like outright bad. Like this is bad.
You know what's crazy?
And we used to call his matches bad all the time.
You know what's crazy though is like, honestly, bro, like it's really just the ending for me. It's not even. And I think the ending just left us a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths, where the whole match was complete. Like to me, like the match wasn't amazing, but it was a regular John. I feel like it was just a regular John Cena match, which is which is fine. But I feel like because the ending happened the way it did, it was like not only was it a regular John Cena match, but the ending was terrible, you know? Because I didn't really mind the match. Like, I mean, and I feel like the crowd, obviously the kickouts was like, oh, wait, he kicked out like the third, fourth AA. That's, oh my God. But obviously when Travis Scott music hits, which I feel like people still expected Travis Scott to appear. It's not like we did not expect that. But then it's like, okay, no Rock, like nobody else. Like this is how it ends: a tug of war and a 1980s heel tactic where he's begging, "Please don't hit me, please."
Yeah,
it's like what? Like, yeah, bro. It didn't end the way I feel like a lot of people thought it would end. But I mean, number 17, I guess. What does J5 say? Woohoo! Yeah.
So this transitions into our next topic. We're gonna get back to the when did they fall off game, and I'm gonna actually ask people. Maybe let's get some talent from the people, and when J5 comes back, we'll play it again. But um, Randy Orton versus John Cena has been confirmed for Backlash, which is in next weekend. Um, in St. Louis, Randy Orton versus John Cena. This is probably the last time this match has ever happened. I can't actually. The last time it probably happened, I think, was 2014, 15,
I
maybe
think it was it was
16.
funny enough, it was the Hell in a Cell match in 2014. Because funny enough, originally John Cena, if I'm not mistaken, John Cena was gonna face Seth Rollins
Yeah, yeah,
at
yeah.
Hell in a Cell, but everybody was like, no, we want Dean and Seth. That's the whole point of the match. And then I think John Cena faced Dean Ambrose, and Ambrose beat Cena, so that's how the Ambrose Rollins Hell in a Cell. And then John Cena faced Randy Orton in Hell in a Cell 2014, which was I think that was the last time they faced off, at least in a PLE. And
It was a solid match. I
solid
watched
match.
it over the weekend. I watched it over the weekend. I was like, you can tell that they know each other very, very well, and kind of like going through the motions. Like they came up with new spots and stuff like that. I think as Cena's going for the 5 moves of doom, as he goes for the second shoulder tackle, Randy Orton hits him with the RKO, which is pretty
Yeah,
fire.
that was
And the match ends with I think an AA off the top rope through a table.
I think so.
But John Cena versus Randy Orton for Backlash, this is going to be the last time it's happened. It's in Randy Orton's hometown of St. Louis. I don't know if this is going to be the last time he gets a WWE Championship match, but it's definitely going to be the last time John Cena and Randy Orton probably face off, unless they face off again. So I want to ask the question. This is the very first take of me, by the way.
Yes.
Who had the better career, John Cena or Randy Orton?
That's
Who was better? Actually, who was better? I won't say better career, because a better career, you get 17 championships on the never seen 17, which is fucking fire, by the way.
Yeah, never seen 17. Like, yeah, that's hard. But I mean, I feel like they both.
Who's the better? Who was better?
It's hard because, well, first of all, I've watched obviously John Cena and Randy Orton's career since the beginning. Like,
Yeah, me too.
I mean, I even remember at a time. I mean, I remember at a time that 09 feud. So many people were tired of seeing Cena and Orton face off for like the 20,000.
Me too. So,
but it's funny, like, but then we look back and be like, oh man, remember that feud? We look at it with such glee and joy, but back then we were so tired of it. But nonetheless, I feel JBL always says it every time, but it's like, if you can build the perfect superstar, it would be Randy Orton. I mean, he has everything you can ask for in a superstar. However, in terms of overall, like everything, I still have to give it to John, because as much as Randy
let me break it down this way. Let's break it down in these categories for career, right? Or who is better? Who's the better speaker between John Cena and Randy Orton?
Cena has more memorable promos than Orton. For sure. Like, every fine speech John Cena is very memorable. Though the one Orton promo that really really sticks with me is when is a random Raw. It's like when he's about to get into his feud with Seth, and he like comes in pissed off because he realizes that the authorities giving all this attention to Seth and not him. And he's like, oh, I made a promise to myself that I wouldn't become the man that I was before. And he RKO Seth out of nowhere, and he runs off. And I think that was the same night the authority like kicks Randy Orton off the group or whatever. But that's a promo that sticks with me. But there's really not really any memorable Randy Orton promos. Oh, I mean, obviously, for the wrong reasons, but obviously the Eddie's down there in hell is crazy. That's a crazy promo, but for the wrong reasons. Right. I did like his promo that he did with the Kevin Owens feud, where he was like, Pat McAfee is gonna be known for the second best person to kick somebody, to kick something or whatever. That was a good promo. But Johnson has way more.
Who's the better in-ring person?
Oh my god. Damn, that's hard, because even with Because Randy Orton, he's just so smooth in the ring. He is very smooth in the ring. He's
Is one
like,
answer to the
but I think like if we're talking about, so we're not talking about matches. We're just talking about just
no,
if you
we're
put
not
him,
talking about matches. We'll get there. We're not talking about rap.
okay, in ring
Who's the better
Orton.
in ring competitor? Orton. Okay.
I'm gonna say Orton personally. I think Orton's better in ring. Even with even with the times when people thought Orton was boring with the headlocks and stuff, like Orton is a perfect in-ring competitor, like hands down. I'm just being honest. I think Cena,
right?
Yeah,
go ahead.
No, I think Cena is a great in-ring competitor, no matter how much. I mean, I don't think people give him shit anymore, but obviously back at the time they gave him a lot of shit. But I think
Randy's been a better wrestler than Cena for a longer time, for sure.
Yes,
yeah, for a much longer time. Who's had the better matches?
Cena, because I think his matches are not only better, but they're more memorable. Yeah, Cena has way more better matches and memorable matches than Orton, in my opinion. Yeah.
See, I want to give Orton some bail, but
nah, man. I know that Orton doesn't have great matches with people, but like even like I can't. The only I'm okay. Let's be clear. Orton, the only memorable like Orton match with Triple H, or the best match that he's had with Triple H, is the Last Man Standing match in No Mercy 2007. Other than that, Triple H and Orton they don't really have the best chemistry.
I don't think Triple H and John Cena have the best chemistry. Low key, this is
my
hot take.
People like the WrestleMania 22 match better than the WrestleMania 25 match with Orton.
That followed the greatest WrestleMania match of all time.
I mean, it's not the greatest WrestleMania match of all time, but we were talking about like
that's what WWE said. It's the greatest WrestleMania match of all time. That had to follow Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels, bro. Crowd was
Yeah, I mean,
when I think, all right, let's
John Cena versus CM Punk has classics. He has classics with John Cena has classics with Edge. I don't think Orton has that many classics. I don't even think he has a classic with Edge, period. John Cena has classics with Shawn Michaels. John Cena has classics with AJ Styles. John Cena has classics with Kevin Owens. John Cena has I continue. John Cena has classics with Kurt Angle. Right? Like, what are we doing? John Cena has classics with Brock Lesnar. You know what I'm saying?
This is true.
He has better matches and more memorable matches than Orton. And that's not the shit on Orton, because Orton does have his fair share of classics. I think Randy Orton has a classic, or I would say, a classic with The Undertaker with WrestleMania 21. I think that's a classic. I think Randy Orton has classics. What's my man's name? Damn. Honestly,
Christian?
With who?
Christian?
He has a classic rivalry, and that's unfortunately for Christian. Yeah, he never got the upper hand in that. But yeah, I think he has a classic with the SummerSlam match for sure. And just even their string of matches were really good. I'm trying to think who else he has classics with. I mean, yeah, like I've never seen I'm trying to think of like a Randy Orton classic. Damn, that's actually harder than the John Cena classic. I'm not gonna lie to you. Not saying that Randy Orton is not great in ring, but like for me to remember a Randy Orton classic is hard to come by. And I know someone's probably screaming like, "Oh my god, the match what he had with Dolph Ziggler!" But
Cactus Jack is probably the only one.
Mick Foley. For goddamn, that's the match that made Orton to who he is. So I mean. But yeah, I mean Mick, yeah, Undertaker, he has a classic. Christian, yeah. But look at the list of people that we named compared to what we just named for John Cena. So yeah, I would say John Cena still overall has the better matches. Yeah,
I would say in terms of longevity, I guess you'd say Randy.
It's gotta be Randy. But Randy, because obviously by this time, like after Cena's done, Randy Orton's probably going to continue another year or two. But let's be clear. I mean, as much as Randy is built to be looked as the perfect superstar, he would have never been able to, unfortunately, carry a company like Cena has. Because even if you look back at Randy Orton's career, when Randy Orton turned face, it wasn't believable. It was cool, but it wasn't a believable thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's why when it came to who the company choose between Orton and Batista, it was Batista all the way. Batista and Cena were the guys. You know, that's just what it was. But I think Randy Orton's obviously appreciated now just because he looks like once he turned into the Viper, he became way cooler. Obviously, way cooler. Yeah, he was a shit
And
eating
the
heel.
RKO is super viral. RKO is like one of the most iconic. It's probably the most iconic finisher of all time. It's probably higher than the Stone Cold Stunner at this point.
Yeah. Honestly, because I see because with the RKO, it doesn't take much. You just gotta grab somebody and drop them. Like with the stunner, you have to do a kick and then a stunner. Like RKO is just damn.
RKO you can get out of nowhere, and he's proven that so many different times.
Like for me, it was always the RKO, the stunner, and the super kick with Sean's super kick, by the way. But yeah, the stunner takes too much time, and then the super kick is so over. I mean, to be fair, it's just oversaturated. But RKO is like a 101, like
at this point for sure. So all right, so we're gonna say John Cena is better than Randy Orton.
Yes, overall, John Cena is better than Randy Orton, but Randy Orton, like I said, is still one of the GOATs, 100%.
I want to hear. Listen, if you listening to this episode, please let us know what you think. I'm super interested because I'm sure there are some people who say Randy's better than John. He's always been better than John, but probably overall, you're probably leaning towards John. If you want to have the career of anybody, it's probably John Cena.
Yeah.
Next couple bit of news before we head into the show, head over to Patreon over for the show. Bayley had an interview with Chris Van Vliet last week, or at least it was released last week. A lot of buzz something around that. People talking about Bayley's contract, talking about Bayley's situation. Is Bayley underappreciated in the role that she's in currently, or is she underrated? I feel like Bayley in this instance, I feel like Bayley is where she needs to be, and I think actually even better right now with the program that's going on with Becky, where Becky like pretty much out releases like, yeah, I attacked her. I don't give a fuck. She's been hitting me since 2019. Why can't I attack her? I think she has been the reason why she doesn't connect. I think is because there isn't really a gimmick or a personality or anything. Not that there's not any personality. Let me not say that. There's no character with Bayley as a face that gets people behind her. There's nothing that people see themselves into other than being a great Samaritan and human being and all this other stuff. Yes, you're a credit to the human race, Bayley. But I don't think usually there's always some aspect that like you see with people who are stars is like, I want to be just like them for this reason. I don't know if the character of Bayley has necessarily like always gave off that. Also, she puts herself in a bunch of situations where she loses and looks like a dork. But I think overall, Bayley is probably one of the more important characters that they have in WWE, just from a standpoint of being able to put over people, being able to sell people, being able to like get things to where they need to be. But overall, there's a reason why I didn't put her over Charlotte and Becky. And I think you look at Monday Night Raw and kind of like see why.
Yeah. Oh my God, Novak is gonna probably kill one of us. This is a Novak topic.
Novak will be all right. Shout out to Novak. We love you, bro.
So is it more so? Are you asking if Bayley in this situation is like underrated or underappreciated?
Do you feel like she's been underappreciated? Do you feel like her career should have had more at this point?
I feel like Bayley is one of the most accomplished women's wrestlers of all time. Let's just get that out of the way.
But I feel like it's accomplished, but do you feel like the accomplishments have been fulfilling in any standpoint? Like has the accomplishments taken her to a different level? You could argue like not.
At this point, I feel like, okay, when the pandemic happened and she had turned heel, I think a little bit before the pandemic, but I feel like from that pandemic all the way to like WrestleMania of last year, like that was definitely like, that was not her peak, because it's not like she fell off. She didn't fall off, right. But like in terms of like character wise and interest, like a lot of people really fucked with the work that Bayley was doing. The character work, what she did for Bianca, what she did for Damage Control. You know, even I mean, even for the feud that she had with Sasha during that time, like I mean, it was a lot of great work. I feel like her. I feel like Bayley's. I feel like Bayley. Something about Bayley is just very interesting. I don't know how to pinpoint it, but I do think a lot of people do appreciate her contributions to what I mean. What like she's one of the four horsewomen. I feel like her contributions to women's wrestling is definitely, you know, just highly appreciated. But I don't feel like she gets the same respect as her peers. You know,
I
that
feel
came
like
up with
because I
her.
feel like she misses the presence that you need to have as a top talent, and I think it might be the WWE system, right? But I also think if she left WWE, she'd probably be the same exact. There's something not as large life about Bayley, but that's also all right because it's kind of like girl next door kind of vibe to it. Um, but I,
I think what Bailey is like. Um,
I don't think people
I
should
like
be like, "Yo, you need to go to AEW." I don't think that'll solve the problem.
No, I don't think Bailey is gonna leave. I think she's a lifer. I think she's gonna be that person to always help usher in, you know, the new talent as far as the women's division is concerned. Um,
I would
but
like her to do. I would like her to have matches outside of WWE, like a couple of the other stars are having. I'm not sure where it would happen or how it would happen, but I
yeah,
would love to see her, like, you know, talk about the AAA, and you talk about the Noah, and you talk about just opportunities to have different set of matches, opportunities to prove herself in new ways. Because you do get kind of, she's been in WWE for a decade, like you kind of get the idea of what you're doing at this point. Um,
I mean, yeah, but so has Becky and so has Charlotte. I mean, I mean,
but
I don't
they
feel like
have the opportunity. I feel like they have the what Becky and Charlotte have positioned themselves. Well, first of all, Charlotte has
Charlotte.
has dug herself into a hole, unfortunately.
Yeah, I just
I
think
also
with
think Becky is. We'll get to it when we talk about Raw.
I think with Bailey, it's definitely interesting. Like I feel like when she won the championship, like she was definitely just coasting. It didn't really do much. Like the story going into WrestleMania was like it was great, it was amazing. The match was amazing, but then after that, it's like okay, then what happens? You know, what was next? Like nothing
And
really.
that's kind of where I talk about the empty fulfillment of like these accomplishments, right? Like these accomplishments, they happen, and you can win a match, but you don't necessarily. It could be like an empty win, for instance, right? And I low key think the EO and Bailey program, um,
It did more for Io than it did for Bailey.
yeah,
But
essentially, and
I
I think
think
I think that was the goal ultimately. But
yeah, maybe
I also think it didn't, the way things were so sped up at the beginning, it didn't give the crowd the opportunity to build sympathy leading up to a giant explosion. It just all kind of happened after the Rumble. Um, Whereas I feel like if you do it at Elimination Chamber or something, like you get a bigger pop and you have a better road for Bayley and all this other stuff like that. So I don't know.
I don't
It's a
know.
tough world. It's a tough world. But we've heard some reports. We've heard some reports lately about Mariah May,
Hmm.
and that she may be WWE bound. It seems all but confirmed at this point. If she does not show up on another episode of Dynamite, which I'm assuming she's not going to, chances are she'd be WWE bound. I think Loki, a long-term feud with Bayley, is exactly what she needs. I think those two are just so polar opposites to the standpoint. And then I also think Mariah May could use all the help that Bayley brings. But I think those two are just so polar opposites to the standpoint that you could get a feud and you can get a moment out of a Bayley versus Mariah May program just from the character that Mariah May is and what she represents. and what Bayley also represents, and kind of the new guard versus the old guard, the young blonde versus, we feel like the veteran or something along those lines. I feel like you can get something out of that. I'd be like booking Loki.
So wait,
It's my favorite. Hashtag Meelz
so
booking.
is this like after Mariah May, I guess, like gets called up from NXT? Because I don't think she's going straight to WWE, in my opinion.
I think she's going straight to the main roster.
Wow.
I think she's going straight to the main roster.
I think she needed to take that Ricky Starks route. I'm gonna be honest. I don't see. I get the appeal. I maybe that's because I don't watch AEW at all because I'm black. Why would I do that?
Don't get me wrong. Everyone could use NXT, but I
just feel like her whole career in AEW was kind of just warped around just the Tony Storm feud. I didn't really see anything else about her just because she has an accent and she can cuss and she's the devil. Woohoo!
I think a lot of her run in AEW was eclipsed by the fact that Mercedes Moné was truly the more prominent champion, despite not being the world champion.
Yeah, that too. I feel like it was both.
I don't think she had anything bad going on. I just think she clearly knew that she was the B champion in this route and was given programs and stuff like Thunder Rosa. Like, come on. No offense.
Her winning the title was just for her to, hey, just warm it up real quick so we can give it back to Tony, because that's the payoff at the end of the day. Like, that's how I look at it.
And again, and that's kind of how stories are told. You know what I'm saying? But it never felt like they propped her up as the champion that she could be. And maybe that was for the best, because legitimately she stays like 2 years. She was in the company for 18 months, and there's already rumors that she's going to leave. That's what happens when you sign a 2-year contract. That's kind of crazy that they would do that and then invest so much time in her.
Even when she showed up, if I'm not remembering, even when she showed up, she just showed up like someone just. I think Renee was just like, oh, here's a new signee, Mariah May. I was like, okay, that's how you debut somebody.
Well, I think it's because she had buzz. There was rumors that she'd either go to WWE, AEW. She chose AEW, so she shows up, and it's kind of new. She follows around Tony Storm, and yes, her entire career arc in AEW is around Tony Storm, but I don't think it's that bad. I think in ring, there's always stuff that she can continue to advance in. However, I think character-wise, on the mic-wise, I think she can bring it in ways that a lot of girls can't. So I feel like she's going to the main roster. I don't think there's a reason to go to NXT and kind of like get yourself. I don't think there's a lot of reasons for these girls to go to NXT, especially if they're really, really good. Because quite frankly, you're taking the opportunity out of the girls from NXT. The NXT girls don't get called up because now you're calling up, for instance, Julia and Roxanne and all these other girls. Again, there's a lot of girls that have been there since 2020, maybe even 2019, that still need to be called up.
I just don't. And that's, like I said, just me personally. I just don't. I need to see a little bit more, because what I saw from like what is posted on the internet, I'm like, okay, that's cool. I guess you cuss and you have an accent, and you're with Tony Storm all the time or whatever. It's like, okay, that's cute, I guess. I'm not impressed, but I'm not really that impressed. And I feel like even if she goes to the main roster, right? Does Raw need Mariah May? Because I feel like SmackDown needs Mariah May more than Raw does.
I think Raw would be I think SmackDown needs a lot more stronger in-ring girls. Okay. SmackDown, there's a major gap between who's on the top and then everybody else. They lack the strong in-ring thing. Like, you can have a Lyra and Dakota Kai, or Lyra and Kairi Sane, or Lyra Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley. SmackDown doesn't have that many combinations. Like, you got Nia Jax, Zelina Vega, B-Fab, Michin, and then there's the Biancas, the Jades, the Charlottes,
the Naomis,
and that might be it. Candice LeRae, I guess, is somewhere in there, but there's not a lot of people that can kind of like filter within the middle. Not a lot of great in-ring workers that can help really like bolster and ground the brand. So I think they need a lot more of that. I'm going to leave this here because we got to go to Patreon soon. So I'm going to, this final question. I'm not going to ask the other thing. We'll ask that on the Patreon.
No problem.
What would you rate the TLC match on Friday?
Like the Biggie theme song said, 3 ain't enough, man. I need 5. Hey, man.
That was one of the best matches I've ever seen on television, for sure.
Yes. And it took me back to a time where TLC matches were televised, like the TLC 3-1 on SmackDown. I think the TLC 4-1 on Raw.
When did they stop when they stopped numbering them is when we lost the essence of TLC. TLC used to be so, to me, it used to be so rare and on special occasions that it would be numbered.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're
TLC
right.
1, 2, 3, and 4 were like, those are the ones that you remember specifically. After that, I can't remember. I don't remember the next TLC after that.
I think the next TLC match, and someone will probably correct me, I think the next TLC match after the 4th one on Raw
might be Edge versus...
It was Edge and Ric Flair. Yeah, Edge and Ric Flair. And then the next one was Cena and Edge and Unforgiven.
All right. You're wild for remembering all of this.
I mean, when I'm a fan of it's great. When I'm a fan of like I love music and I love wrestling. I always go back to see, okay, what was going on before then? And like, why was this important? What was this, that, and the third? And also too with John Cena, like I grew up on all that stuff. So like, it's literally imprinted in my brain along with a lot of the other stuff. But yeah, I think this match.
You're absolutely right, by the way. You might need to go on Rewriter's Room, and you and Armand might need to battle it off. Shout out to Rewriter's Room, by the way. Check out the new episode that they got this week. You and Armand might be the battle of all battles. It might not even it might need more than one episode, to be honest with you. You might need a series of this like Jeopardy.
Probably not. But yeah, no, like that was an amazing match. I know people, and even me personally, I was like, man, wow, this should have definitely been in the WrestleMania card. But however, look, to look on the bright side, like, it got time. It got the main event spot.
Got no commercials
on top. No commercials. Like they still gave it everything. They gave everything to this match, and the wrestlers, Motor City Machine Guns, DIY and Street Profits, they gave everything in this match as well, no beard or not, you know what I'm saying? So like, it was a great match. The spot with Angelo Dawkins, like spearing, chomping through the table. Oh my God. Like, that was crazy. I know it's not good. I know it's for some people it's like, oh, it's not one Edge spear Jeff Hardy, but I don't give a fuck. That shit was still fire. No, I mean, I would say and this is me being nitpicky. I swear to God, I swear it's not even a big deal. But I do kind of wish Pretty Deadly was involved, because I felt like they were a big part of that story in a sense, because of the Street Profits getting attacked in them line. Like, I thought they were a big part of that story too. I wish they would have got that, but I'm not really tripping. I swear I'm not. It's not a big deal. It doesn't take away from how amazing that match was. Yeah, it's definitely 5 stars. It's definitely one of the best matches of the year so far too.
Listen, guys, we're about to get into SmackDown. We're about to get into Raw. We're about to get into the main shows over on Patreon. So if you have not subscribed to the Patreon, it's patreon.com/TheHRNC, where you can get episodes of the Rewriters Room. You get the deluxe episode of the Rewriters Room. You get the early episode of the Rewriters Room that comes out before it comes out on the main feed. Same thing for Happened to War Report. Shout out to Chris Mack for filling in for Cyrus last week. Chris Mack, Quan, going over everything that happened after NXT TakeOver and on AEW last week. Yeah, tune in, man. But listen, we about to head over to Patreon to talk about the main shows, talk about everything that happened on these weekly shows between SmackDown and Raw. So make sure you just pay the $5, stay subscribed. And yeah, any words for the final words for the free audience, Deon?
I mean, just, appreciate you guys for, sticking with J5 and Meelz for this long, man. If you guys been fans of the A Show, whether it's been the whole time or just this episode, like, we appreciate you guys for listening. We appreciate you guys for supporting. Obviously, if you want to support more, go to the Patreon, give that $5, or even if you want to join the Discord, give that $20. And then for me, obviously, do I say my follows here or do I wait to the Patreon? I'm not
No,
sure how
you
that
can.
works.
You say it
Oh,
now. Say it
oh
now.
yeah. Definitely. Follow me on Instagram at Deon Egenti. That's DeonEgenti. It's the same as X, but I don't go on X as much. I really just retweet A show stuff. And even that, like I gotta continue doing that, but I really don't even go on X like that anymore. Obviously, I'm a DJ, so if you want to follow my DJ account or if you want to book me as a DJ, I'm willing to travel, for a good fee. It is DJ D Rose underscore. That is DJ D Rose underscore. So yeah, definitely follow me there. Like I said, and book me if you want to. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. And if you want to hop on the Patreon, definitely come over. We definitely gonna talk about a lot of good stuff.
So thank you guys for tuning in, and once again, feels good to say Happy Rusev Day. We'll see you guys next week.
Oh Lord, all right.